And more details about the Parliamentary Assembly of Council of Europe mission to Peninsula and its possible outcomes, watching the following story by Katerina Latka.
In the end of January, a special mission of the Council of Europe, headed by the special representative of Secretary-General Gerard Studman, visited Crimea. The main goal of the mission is monitoring of the situation with human rights on Peninsula. At the 13th of January in Simferopol, representative of the mission met with members of the Mejlis of the Crimean Tatars, included the chairman of Mejlis, Rifat Chubarov. Separately, Mr. Studman had a meeting with Deputy Chairman of Mejlis Akhtem Chigos, which is kept under the arrest in the case of so-called 26th of February. Lawyer of Akhtem Mykola Polozov said the occupation authorities accused him of organizing mass riots. It is Article 212 of the Criminal Code of Russian Federation. Akhtem Chigos can receive from 4 to 10 years in prison.
Before the mission, before they were going to Crimea, the mission itself, for sure they came to Kiev and they had a number of meetings with all the stakeholders, both with the representative of state agencies here in Ukraine, but also with the representative of Mejlis and also of the representatives of civil society. The main idea is to provide their findings to the members of Council of Europe and then afterwards to decide or to discuss what the next actions of the Council of Europe. So right now it's quite questionable whether this report would be public or not, and this could be a part of diplomatic relations.
It is to be recalled that 8 of 21 Ukrainian hostages of the Kremlin are illegally detained in Crimea. 3 of them in the case of protests during referendum made by Russia: Akhtem Chigos, Mustafa Degemirci, Ali Asanov. While the mission was on Peninsula, there were mass searches of Crimean Tatars' families in Leninsky district, in Jankoy district and in Simferopol. There is no any statement from the side of Russian authority in Crimea about this situation.
There a genocide occurs. The accumulation comes. There occurs pressure, and this Federal Security Service machine, which is breaking bonds, especially of Crimean Tatars.
Mejlis of the Crimean Tatars, as well as human rights organization, has repeatedly stated that after the annexation of Crimea by Russia, repressions of the Crimean Tatars on the peninsula are held, but Russian authorities contradict this. In March, mission of the Council of Europe will prepare a monitoring report about the situation with human rights on peninsula.
Well, it was said that Ukrainian authorities are going to discuss Crimean question in Geneva Plus format. But some experts said that it should stay within the Minsk process. What is your point of view concerning this question?
I would rather recommend to make an attempt to keep it within the existing negotiating formats. And why? The new format, I see no instrument that would make, let's say, us possible to push Russia to join the new negotiating format on the issue of Crimean occupation. There are no reasons for Russia to join it, as it consistently says that the Crimean issue is closed for discussion, that there is nothing to close. Nothing to discuss, I'm sorry. Although within the existing formats we could add this issue of the occupation or de-occupation to the agenda of the existing Normandy format or Minsk format, and probably it would be the international community will find more possibilities to make Russia negotiating or discussing this issue. And of course, it is very premature to declare that the new format will make any discussion regarding the de-occupation possible. I believe we should go step by step, like mission that we saw being arranged by the Council of Europe. So first of all, we need to make Russia discussing the occupation issues, the issues related to occupation, especially the human rights violation. So, and then closely, step by step, we will open the whole issue, the whole spectrum of issues related to occupation, and hopefully later on the negotiation might be transferred in something like negotiation over the de-occupation. So step by step, we need to go.
You suggest to discuss this question apart for all negotiation processes, because we know that Minsk agreements are not executed. So,
well, but the negotiating format is existing. So, and the leaders of the countries are meeting in the Normandy format. The ministers of foreign affairs are meeting oftenly. So it will be much more easier to request or to demand some issues related to Crimea to be discussed within those formats. Of course, it would be much more difficult to add additional item to the Minsk Accords or agreements. Nevertheless, we should try to begin the process just from initiating the discussion over the issue, because again, Russia is stating that the issue is closed. We need to reopen the issue. But we can do it just by trying to reopen it, by discussing the issues that Russia basically cannot Russia must agree to discuss the human rights violation or the human rights situation, because it's not been considered as the internal issue anymore.
But it is known that they are refused from the Convention of Human Rights of European Union.
Well, anyway, they still the member. Russia is still a member of their Council of Europe, so they still obliged, and also they member of UN, and UN Charter is also provides on the universal character of the human rights. So there are much more than just their obligations within the Council of Europe or some Council of Europe conventions. And I believe it's a good time right now to try to push Russia to start the discussions over some issues related to occupation, like the process of the changing the citizenship of Ukrainian citizens into Russian one, the human rights violation in regard of the Crimean Tatars, Ukrainian activists, the rights of the different religious groups, so on, so on, so on.